We
One
were.
year ago.
Yeah, we were 1 year ago. 7:38. Let's keep it going to the KUAM News Zoom room. We'll kind of, I guess, just start there with our mayor's update. Mayor Jesse Allig, the president of the Mayor's Council, also the mayor of PD, and the mayor of Inalahan, Mayor Anthony Chargaloff. Let's just start there. 1 year anniversary, COVID. We'll go ahead and go with you first. Mayor Allig, just some thoughts, reflections, maybe?
Off day and good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Yeah, just thinking about it and listening to everyone this morning, it's sobering. Uh, but the one thing that comes to mind is really to thank the Lord for those of us that that really remain, that we continue to live healthy lives and prosperous lives. Uh, Definitely thanking the Lord for comforting and consoling the bereaved family and friends of those who were victims of COVID. And we pray definitely that the Lord gathers them to Himself. For me, it really is about thanking the Lord because He is a big part of my life and definitely the work that we do. Thanking the Lord for the men and women who continue to protect us and to serve us. We thank the Lord definitely for keeping those people safe who continue to develop uh, processes and vaccines that keep us safe worldwide, and just really thanking the Lord for all the good things that He has given us, and hopefully we will continue to live and continue to live happy and prosperous lives.
Mayor Chargaloff?
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning,
Good
morning,
morning.
morning. What's your thoughts and reflections on the last year under the COVID?
Well, it's actually it is obviously a time that a lot of us have learned from. It's a lot of lessons have been learned from this. No one ever predicted this would ever come our way. We have losses within our community, and I'm sure the entire island community has felt the losses of some of their people very close to them. Obviously, like I said again, I mean, here's a good example. This Zoom meeting actually evolved out of a situation caused by COVID, where social distancing was basically enforced and implemented. So even the school distance learning, a lot of things have been learned as a direct result of this COVID. Of course, I wasn't the mayor last year, but I witnessed firsthand some of the challenges that they had to take, from doing the senior citizens lunch deliveries to actually being a part of passing out the assignments and of course the food distribution. So the mayor's group have undertaken a very large, daunting task, but really, as a direct result of that, I think a lot of us have learned, looked at the different methods of how we can become better efficient in what we do. And for the most part, and I applaud all the mayors, uh, before this general election, a lot of us had to really manipulate or alter the way we did business. I mean, even the election themselves, it was unprecedented the way we did it with regards to social distancing or even appointments, going in and voting. So definitely a lot of lessons learned, and I'm sure that this all resulted in a stronger community. Leaders have evolved because of this, and I think we've handled it pretty well.
All right, and something that it's getting handled right now, Mayor. There's a bill we were talking about earlier to change the name of your village from Inarajan to Inalahan.
Yes, it's Bill 60-36, authored by the good Senator Telu Tairigui, and we applaud her for this. We, the Municipal Planning Council, did approach Telu to assist us with this. She was also able to get other co-sponsors of this bill. Last week, several members of the community came out and in support of this, and for the most part, a lot of them were elders who actually felt that this is a long time coming. They believe that the name change from Inaran to Inalahan only supports the fact that while Inalahan has been labeled as a historic village, we never officially could say that to be very true, only because our village name, we still call Inarahan. And I know there's a lot of things that will be happening. Even our mailing addresses and all that would change. Some of the schools may in fact change from Inarahan Elementary to Inalahan Elementary. And here's the one thing that I want to say that, if while I also made the statement that our this generation today, I believe, is going to be held responsible for us to maintain and revitalize whatever is left of our culture, of our language. And if there's a Chamorro word that I want our young generation to maintain, if there's only one that has to be there, then let it be the name of our village in Inalahan. And I think once you start repeating that to the younger generation, they are gonna really just run with that and maintain that and hold that forever.
Mayor Alec, what other village name changes do you think are in the works? Because we're here in Harmon, and I know Harmon is not indigenous unless you pronounce it Hutman.
That's true. Well, we actually that's on our agenda this week for the mayor's actually.
Hutman, Viva Hutman!
We're looking forward to it, and it's a good thing that Mayor Chagaloff was going through this process, because we will be having a discussion with Dr. Underwood this week with all the mayors, and hopefully we can see which mayors are interested in making that change. And of course, it's not really doesn't solely rely on the mayor, but it's a community effort. So I'm not sure which villages are interested and which villages are not. Well, when you look at PT, right? I mean, there's different points of view, because perhaps before a certain time it wasn't PT, it was Tipungan. And so, do you want to go back to that time, or do we use our current PT and use an actual? Well, it is a Chamorro word, right? Derived from the word puti, to hurt. Yeah. But why would you? We want to remain positive, I think.
What about like Santa Rita?
Well, I mean, it's named after a Catholic saint, right. But I'm not too sure who. I'm not too sure about the area, because perhaps the area was. It was probably like a barrio, maybe. I'm not positive, but Dr. Underwood might be able to help us shed some light on that. And that's kind of like a Ganya or Haganya, right? There were so different barrios there at the time, way back, before the war. So perhaps it'll lead us to something like that.
Well, hopefully we just do it once and for all and get her done, because right now there's a lot of we call the villages one name, and then we have these signs that are up, those big signs where everything's misspelled, right, with the other village names. Like, I mean, Sinania, the way they spelled Sinania was just kind of funny. So, I mean, I think this is cool. I don't know why we haven't done it. I thought we already did it. But, yeah, so looks like we got to get Underwood on it.
It is a big deal. So like I said, we're having that discussion, starting that discussion this weekend. That's hopefully it'll lead to something positive for everyone, and like you said, a permanent change if it's necessary.
Right on. Yeah. I'm just curious about our fate. Our fate hangs in the balance, Sabrina.
I wanted to follow up on something that came out from the Catholic Church regarding the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, because public health had announced that the VA PPC had approved prioritization of using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for homebound and those in the elderly, the adult daycare centers. And I'm just curious if any of the Manumcos have called the village mayors expressing concern about Johnson & Johnson.
So far, I haven't heard of any concerns. I definitely, for those of us that are worried about it, or perhaps thinking more into it, hopefully they heed the bishop's advice, and if there's an option, to request for an option if that's necessary for them. And I'm glad that that's how that was worded, because it it's not an absolute no, but if there's an option for another vaccine, perhaps the Manamco can request for it, and we'll certainly be advocates of that. I mean, if the Manamco do not want a particular one, and in the past that was how it was. Many, when Pfizer first came out, many did not want to take Pfizer and wanted to wait for Moderna, and so there was a push for Moderna, and so when Moderna came, then we had. It was actually when Moderna came out, that's when we did the homebound. So it was perfect for that. But yeah, hopefully they do, or they're given an option, or they're at least reminded that there is a choice for them.
Mm-hmm. Mayor Chargaloff, any concerns down south?
No, actually, I have no inquiries regarding the Johnson. I believe right now we're hovering right around closer to 90% already immunized as far as our Manamco. So,
mm-hmm. What about mayors and
coming to the office anytime soon?
What about mayors and mayoral staff, because they were added to the eligibility group? Has everybody been vaccinated?
I'm going to speak at least.
Go ahead, Mayor.
I'm going to speak at least for Inalahan. So I've got my first dose already. As a matter of fact, as of today, the Inalahan Mayor's Office is hosting its second vaccination for those that got theirs back in February 8th. We were supposed to have one here March 8th, but unfortunately, because I guess it was a delay in terms of it arriving on Guam, we are now open today, the 15th, 1 week later. And from what I gather from public health officials, that it's still okay. So we actually have one going on today here in my office.
And that's important. People should really go out and take advantage of that, because they said that after your first dose, 42 days after you should get your second dose, and I think that would be like 38 days if they got it on February 8th. So, what were you going to say, Mayor Alec?
So I didn't take a poll of all the mayor's offices as to who was vaccinated or not, but I do know that majority of them took advantage of the vaccination. For PD, we're all fully vaccinated.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's good. It was a good thing. We staggered the second dose because of all the of all the stories that we were hearing, and I have to say, thank God we did.
Right.
Yeah. But going on this week, there's two other things that are happening this week for the mayors that's going to keep everyone busy. Other than the village name change discussion, we're going to be starting our talks on liberation memorial ceremonies. So those villages that typically or traditionally host liberation memorial ceremonies in July and August, we'll be starting that discussion this week. And that's important for us because, we're still in the pandemic, and how do we commemorate, we'll definitely be talking about how we're going to commemorate those important times. And so that's big for us. And then the other big deal for us this week is working with GPD on their an extension of their Safe Schools initiative. So they have something called Project U, and I'm excited about it because we're always concerned about crime in the villages and suspicious activity. Most of our neighborhood watch programs are active and in one way or another very helpful in solving crime and protecting really our neighbors. So this Project U is definitely focused on our young people and focused on getting that out to the community. So I'm looking forward to working with GPD and the mayors on that, and hopefully we can push something out to you, on the programs, on the two.
You mentioned planning and discussing of the liberation memorials. What about the carnival and the parade? Have you heard anything in terms of whether or not we're going to see that this year?
So on the mayor's council side, we do not plan to host a carnival or a parade. And again, because of the pandemic, and I believe the governor and the speaker are on board with that as well. And we've agreed that the most important part of liberation is the memorial ceremonies. And so like we did last year, that was, we went to each village and we had a small ceremony, and a small group of Manamco were present. And if they weren't present, then the mayor worked hard to make sure that they were included somehow. The best part I think about last year was KUAM's virtual parade. I mean, I'm still shocked that all 19 villages submitted a film, a recording at least of of something to show off their village. Was so happy to see it. I thought, well, when Sabrina came to our mayor's meeting, I thought, okay, well, it didn't seem like we were going to get a lot of participation, and we had to push and nudge. But at the end, I was just shocked. It was overwhelming, really. So that was a great first time, and so KOM, you're gonna have to outdo yourself this year.
We got you. We got
All right,
you.
thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be working together
Hey, what about
again this year.
the night market? I don't know. Sorry, can I just ask about the night market, Chamorro Village night market? Have you guys heard anything about that?
Haven't heard anything about the night market, but I do want to share about agate and barrigada. And one of the reasons, I know that the mayors are somewhat apprehensive about marketing perhaps their event on Tuesday and on Wednesday, but with the approval of the governor and public health, it really is just a grab and go activity. So there's no entertainment, there's no hanging out, there aren't any tables to sit and eat, and it's really just to provide for both the vendors to sell their produce in agate, and for residents to be able to get fresh produce and to get fresh meals that are pre-packaged, and it's just a grab and go deal for both agate and barrigada. But I have not heard anything about the Chamorro night market, the Wednesday night market.
Well, what about the Mango Festival?
The Mango Festival is not. I'm not the mayor of Agate.
I know.
But I know that it's not happening. It's not happening because there's. I mean, you've been there, Chris. There's just sometimes there's too many people, and the mayor, the mayor and the vice mayor do a great job down there. But can you really control social distancing? Can you really? There are just so many different issues as to why there won't be a Mango Festival. As a matter of fact, the governor has asked me to remind all the mayors to kind of treat 2021 as 2020, and hopefully,
unless you're having a fundraiser. If you're having a fundraiser for re-election, that's totally fine. Treat it like 2019.
Chris Barnett, you asked me about the villages.
I know. I'm just saying it is what it is. How are you going to song in the mayor's like, hey, you guys better chill when you yourself are having a fundraiser and carting in 23 people at a time? It's ridiculous. It's hypocritical, actually. Okay, Mayor. Sorry, I don't want to make it any more awkward for you. I already know you have it awkward. So.
Certainly.
I did want to follow up though on what I had asked last week regarding the homeless situation, and their plans were regarding opening up different sort of shelters or whatever it is in the villages. And so you said that you were having a meeting with either OHAP or someone with the Homeless Coalition last Thursday. Do you have any updates on that?
So we were not given any updates as to more shelters opening. I believe they're still working on that plan. I don't have any more information on it. And yes, it was requested, but I can't respond to that.
Okay. What about on the 661 million? Anything going to the mayor's council, or is the mayor's council said, hey, look, we'd like to be prioritized to get some funding? Because you guys did a whole lot of work since the start of the pandemic with money probably you guys didn't even have.
That's correct. Yes, I have already reached out to the governor and to the lieutenant governor on behalf of the mayor's council, and it looks promising. We are working. We did send in a request for several things for all the villages, and we're working two different aspects, one with the governor and one with the lieutenant governor, and hopefully we'll be able to push that out as well. On the governor's side, on the request that we made, it was really to help each office function better with new vehicles to help each village function better with more maintenance funding and parks and facilities upgrades, and also an upgrade in technology. Most of our mayors are using, as like in PD, we have 4 computers, but 2 belong to me personally, and so and then we have Zoom, but Zoom belong, it's paid personally. It's not paid out of government funds. So those types of things, we want to keep up with technology so that the mayor's offices are working better and are working more efficiently with the government agencies. And so hopefully that'll lead to, to an upgrade on not only just technology, but also information. So I'm happy about that. With the lieutenant governor, I think you'll be seeing something coming out of that maybe in the next month or so. We're working on providing community activities for each village, and hopefully we'll be pushing that out soon. And that's a big deal. That's also to help our students and our adults on the education side.
Can you break down like how much you guys are requesting?
No actual breakdown.
Estimate on how much?
Well, definitely our shortfall. So our shortfall is about 2.6 million, and so we know we believe that will be taken care of on top of all the other asks. Mm-hmm. So that's at least the bare minimum.
Okay. Well, I mean, you guys did, like I said, you guys were from day one. You guys were tasked with the food distribution and everything else during this pandemic. So hopefully you get what
so
you guys are
when it
asking
first started.
for.
You're right. When we first started, most of us had purchased used vehicles from GSA, and so we all kind of gave up those vehicles to public health to use for the pandemic, and we finally received them back. And so that was kind of the trade-off, really, or the reason why we're asking for new vehicles, because of that purpose.
Well, thank you. Was there anything else, Chris? From
No,
your
good.
Well, thank you guys and everything you've done and continue to do.
Viva the mayors! Viva! Yep, I gotta say, you guys worked way harder. You worked way harder than the senators during the pandemic.
Viva Inalahan.
There you go. Inalahan.
Inalahan.
Anybody who says Inarajan is gonna get fined $5.
Make it 50.
Absolutely.
50. They're gonna put it towards San Jose Fiesta.
You know what?
Oh yes, Jay.
No, we have to re-record the song.
Yeah, we do.
Inalahan.
Making my
There
home
you go.
in you.
There you go.
All right. There you go. Thank you, Mayor Alec. Thank you, Mayor TC.
Okay.
That's
Adios.
tough. All
Stay
right.
safe.
There you go. Good guys there. 7:59. It's 8 o'clock pretty much. We're at KUAM FM Agani Guam on the breeze. That's the radio side. We're also multimedia all over. Facebook Live, KUAM News. We're coming up. We got a bunch of senators who are on the governor's back.